For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
Exactly 3 years ago, on 5th of August 2019, the Indian government surprised the world by abrogating the Article 370, which had given special status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which borders Pakistan. The surprise was because the Article 370 gave protection to Jammu and Kashmir and treated it as something outside the main body of the Indian Constitution. What has happened 3 years after that abrogation and that shock that the world and especially Pakistan felt is the subject of Ask Nitin this week. I am Nitin Gokhale. So, on 5th August 2019, as I said, the Parliament actually abrogated Article 370, which had given special status to Jammu and Kashmir at the time of independence. In fact, when the article was introduced in the Indian Constitution, it was understood that it was supposed to be a temporary measure for preserving the special arrangement between the erstwhile princely state of Jammu and Kashmir and the Indian Union or the newly created independent India. It was always understood that the article would be abolished and Kashmir and Jammu and Kashmir, the erstwhile princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, would eventually become like any other state in the country. That was not to be for various political and administrative reasons. Also, the fact that Jammu and Kashmir was majority Muslim state, the population in Kashmir Valley was Muslim, although the Jammu region had more Hindus, and Ladakh of course had a mix of Hindus, Muslims and Buddhists. So that was the arrangement which continued for a long time, for almost 70 plus years, which created a kind of a rift between the rest of India and Jammu and Kashmir. Some families in Jammu and Kashmir benefited from it. They became the new elite in Jammu and Kashmir, the political families, the business families, some bureaucratic families. And of course, the common people continued to get discriminated against. And the divide between Jammu and Kashmir on religious lines only got accentuated. But with one stroke, the Modi government, the Narendra Modi government on 5th of August 2019 just abolished the Article 370 and created two new union territories in the form of Jammu and Kashmir together and Ladakh, which has majority Buddhist population, as another union territory. So the removal of Article 370 from the Indian Constitution and the abolishment of the special status to Jammu and Kashmir meant that Pakistan, which constantly keep the pot boiling in Jammu and Kashmir through its proxy war and by constantly calling Jammu and Kashmir as an unsettled dispute between India and Pakistan, did not know how to react. It was a major constitutional and emotional change, I would say, on 5th August 2019. There was a lot of protest. You know how the Indian government moved in to quell the protest. There were a complete curfew. Huge number of security forces went into the Kashmir Valley and in Jammu to nip any trouble in the bud. And of course, 3 years later, many things have changed on the ground. That was a cataclysmic change, if one may want to call it, in that particular year, when everybody thought that proxy war is going to now go to the next stage. Pakistan will attack India, Pakistan will try and exploit the resentment amongst the Kashmiri population. But nothing of the sort happened. The population realized that it's a political decision, and in the long run it would be a good administrative decision in terms of better governance in favor of the people, the common people. So, in June and July of 2022, we at StratNewsGlobal decided to send two teams to the two different union territories. It's a nearly an hour-long film, which gives you a sense of what is happening on the ground. So I will not take away that surprise. You please do go watch on YouTube channel of StratNewsGlobal the entire film and the kind of sense of difference or sense of change that has come on the ground in Jammu and Kashmir as well as in Ladakh. There are different perceptions about it, there are different opinions amongst people, and naturally so. It's a varied region, their aspirations are different. Like you would find a government servant or somebody who's connected to the government telling you that things have changed for the better. There would be in the Jammu and Kishtwar and Doda, those regions, people are still resentful that they are not getting the kind of due that they expected to get when the new union territory was created, and they expected to get at par treatment with the Kashmiri Muslims. But that has still not happened, is what their sense is. You will find many of these voices in that film. So, when you go to the Kashmir Valley, there are other voices which talk about the radicalization of the Kashmiri youth, Kashmiri Muslim youth in the valley. There is one gentleman who speaks about the increasing or increased influence of the Jamaat on every aspect of the Kashmiri life and the radicalization that is now assuming dangerous proportions. If you speak to the security personnel, the security establishment will tell you all the parameters of the violence have come down. There are very sporadic incidents of violence and killing, targeted killing of Kashmiri Hindus, sometimes of businessmen, and even a popular TV star has happened, not that it hasn't happened. But overall, the violence levels have come down. Overall, the sense of security has increased. The encounters on the line of control between India and Pakistan have reduced, but the infiltration from the Pakistani side to continue the proxy war hasn't really reduced as much as India would have liked. But because Pakistan still believes that Kashmir is its main cause against India, against the resentment that it has against India, and therefore it must continue the proxy war. So all that remains, in the Pakistani mind, is that Kashmir has been taken away from Pakistan by India by amending its constitution and giving it a special status under the Union Territory, which comes directly under the central government. So there is a governor's rule. There are political activities right now at a low ebb in Jammu and Kashmir as well as in Ladakh. But there are challenges of putting in place administrative systems. Tourism is booming in both Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir. But is that sustainable? Does that give the kind of sustainable long-term tourism that India wants, or those two regions want, which are in the very fragile climate zone, and do the administration on both union territories, do they really want that kind of tourism, is the question that is being asked repeatedly. But overall, in these 3 years, there is a sense of aspiration, and there is a sense of security, and there is optimism for hope amongst people of both Jammu and Kashmir as well as in Ladakh. That's the sum total of what has happened in these 3 years. I do not want to steal the thunder of the film made by my team, which went on the ground and actually spent a lot of time meeting people, recording their interviews, recording their views, and trying to come back with the real sense of what's happening on the ground. So please do watch that movie. So what I wanted to do was to talk about 3 years after the abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, creating the two union territories of Jammu and Kashmir as well as in Ladakh. Now, we'll have to wait and watch for a long-term effect, permanent effect of that change. But all that I can say after 3 years is that it's a good beginning, and we need to build on that beginning. Although there are challenges and there are multiple opinions about how these 3 years have gone by. As usual, in Ask Nitin, we also take questions from our some of our audience who join live. So let's go to Shruti first, who has a question, I'm sure. And please introduce yourself, Shruti. What you do and what is your question that I can probably answer.
Yeah, good morning, sir. I'm Shruti Kapil, and I'm a consultant with security firms. And I want to ask you, like, how have things changed in the last 3 years in Jammu and Kashmir in the past 3 years, like the major changes? And was it unconstitutional to remove Article 370 without consulting the local population?
Well, I'll take the second part of your question first. The local population was not consulted because the local population was not even consulted when the Article 370 was put in the Constitution in the first place in the early years of our independence. Because the politicians in Jammu and Kashmir decided that. And there was no way that the politicians in Jammu and Kashmir would have agreed to the central government's proposal to abolish Article 370, because it meant that their special powers, their special status, their special privileges would have been taken away. Therefore, they were not consulted, neither was the population through the political leaders, because India had decided that the temporary nature of Article 370, which was described by National Security Advisor Ajit Doval in one of the speeches in 2018 as an aberration of the Indian Constitution or anomaly of the Indian Constitution, had to go. And therefore, it took a decision which seemed unpopular at the beginning. But going by what has happened in these past 3 years, to answer the first part of your question, it has not been a bad decision. The security situation has improved, as I mentioned in my opening remarks. The people have now more time and are more willing to concentrate on what is their primary focus, that is earning a good livelihood for themselves and their families. Tourism, as I said, in Kashmir Valley as well as in Jammu is booming, and so in Ladakh. In fact, Ladakh had a record number of tourists in 2021 after the COVID wave had abated. And now they are in fact taking special measures to limit the number of tourists in Ladakh. So the earlier atmosphere of fear, anxiety, uncertainty in Jammu and Kashmir especially has reduced considerably. I won't say that it hasn't. The Amarnath Yatra, for instance, which is ongoing, has had a sporadic kind of journey this year. There have been natural calamities twice in the first month or so, but there has been no violence there, which used to be always targeted. So the security grid is now more secure. It is more permanent, I would say. And the administration is directly controlled by the Lieutenant Governor, which is not a ideal thing to happen. But I'm sure the political process will begin very soon, and then there will be an elected assembly will be sort of thought about in Jammu and Kashmir as well as in Ladakh. But in Ladakh, it might continue as the arrangement that they have right now of a council and administered by the Lieutenant Governor there right now. So that's the situation as far as my assessment and my own sense of what's happening on the ground is concerned.
Thank you, sir. I'm looking forward to the movie.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Let's go to our next guest here. And I think we have Priyanka. Priyanka, please do introduce yourself. What do you do and what's your question?
Yes, sir. So, I'm currently pursuing my master's in international relations. So, sir, my question
From?
was, sorry, sir.
Where are you pursuing it? Which institution?
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm pursuing it from Symbiosis College, Pune.
Okay, right. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So my question was, recently Mehbooba Mufti quoted that let the J&K be declared a peace zone and let the business come in from all sides. So here I'm not getting into the political analysis, but sir, I wanted to know if thought seriously about this, what difference this will make to the region.
Well, that I think thought is already in the minds of the administrators, and what Mehbooba Mufti actually said is based on the winds of change that are evident on the ground in Jammu and Kashmir. There was a big delegation that visited Jammu and Kashmir from the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, for exploring the possibility of investments and some business opportunities in Jammu and Kashmir, or what they can source from Jammu and Kashmir. So that was a big signal, big boost for the sentiments of the business people in Jammu and Kashmir. Also, a lot of Indian businessmen, Indian industrial houses have expressed their willingness to invest, to set up something in Jammu and Kashmir. It's early days yet, but because of the improved and stable law and order situation in the state, or now the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and parts of Ladakh, which is basically Leh and the nearby areas, there is a lot of interest. So I think from a point of view of development and bringing in prosperity for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, I think it's a good step, it's a good sentiment, and I think Mehbooba Mufti has read the writing on the wall, and she is no longer opposing, or at least talking about why Article 370 was abolished and why the special status in the Indian constitution that the state of Jammu and Kashmir has been taken away. She is now talking about the future, which is again a good thing, and I think political activity needs to be revived there. As I said, 3 years have gone by, things have stabilized, but they need to go further from here for the betterment of the people's lives, and also give them much more opportunity, or many more opportunities for livelihood, better job prospects, and bringing in prosperity which will last, which will be spread across the spectrum of the population and not limited to some of the elites in Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Do we have one more guest, or?
Hi Nitin sir, Aditi this side. I'm basically from Nepal and a student of sociology and psychology. I'd like to know that how has India as a nation benefited from the abrogation of Article 370?
Well, India as a nation now feels, Aditi, thank you for joining, thank you for that question. India as a nation now feels a little more united, and there is no discrimination as far as different regions are concerned. There was always this resentment in the rest of India about why Jammu and Kashmir should get a special status, why do the people there get special privileges, and how others from rest of India are not allowed to be normal citizens in Jammu and Kashmir, was the sense of resentment everywhere else. So in that sense, it has united the nation. In the long run, it will also strengthen the borders of India with Pakistan, which are with Jammu and Kashmir. Right now, we have the line of control. But in the long run, India has better sense of control over Jammu and Kashmir, which was always a little tenuous. No matter what we said about the army being there and the security forces being there, the main benefit is that the integration of rest of India with Jammu and Kashmir, and the people of Jammu and Kashmir now feeling or at least will feel to be part of the Indian Union, rather than feeling to be alienated or having that sense of alienation from rest of India. Those who have pro-India sentiments, those who have pro-Pakistan sentiments, of course, will keep resenting the abrogation, which has resulted in taking away their special privileges and the sense of kind of special status that they had vis-a-vis rest of the citizens in India. That's the benefit for the Indian nation. Right then, so we had 3 ladies today, kind of a record, asking us questions on this show. This is a new format that we have adopted. I used to do a weekly show called Simply Nitin, many of you will recall. But I wanted it to be more participatory, more engagement with the audience. And I would like more and more people to pose questions and join us live. We are still new to this format, so there will be some glitches and some kind of sense of not a full program that Ask Nitin has become, like what Simply Nitin was. But do join us regularly, pose your questions. We do give you advance notice. We have to record this in advance and then play it every Saturday at 7 p.m. I will await your feedback. Your comments are always very precious. That gives us ideas about what we should improve upon and what subjects we should take. For the time being, that's all I have. You know our social media handles, where to subscribe to our YouTube channel, how to subscribe, and also our social media handles like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook are all available on the screen in the description. So as I end this program, I want to urge you, all of you who are watching the Ask Nitin program, to switch on your YouTube channel or your television sets on which you watch the YouTube channel of StratNewsGlobal, and go through a nearly 1 hour long documentary our team has done in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, focusing on what has changed in these two union territories in the past 3 years after the abrogation of Article 370. You will get a glimpse of what has changed, what has not changed, what are the aspirations that have been unmet, and what are the aspirations that have been fulfilled. It's a documentary that I promise will give you a fresh perspective on India's decision to abrogate Article 370 and create these two new union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, which has rattled Pakistan and has sent shockwaves across the world for the decision that India took, which seemed a decision which was very difficult to implement, but 3 years after will give you a glimpse of what the situation on the ground is, because our crews went on the ground, spoke to people, filmed the developmental projects, the changes that have been brought in, and has brought you the entire episode based on their travels in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. For the time being, it's goodbye.